going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Wait! Before you get on with this film, if you haven't seen it, leave. Just leave now.
Get out.
Leave.
I saw this film ice cold. You should too. I liked it. I recommend it.
I say the same thing. And then come back.
Go.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out! Yo! Yo, chill, man. Get out! Chill, man.
Okay. We are about to get into a film that I believe is the best horror film of the year. Okay? It might be contingent of best film of the year. We are talking about Barbarian.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I know this is the dude's first film, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like Tour de Force, dude. I'm like, wow.
I was like, yo, this is his first film, Zach Krieger.
I got $1,000 that says he's got a comedy background.
Oh, now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
Two people rent out an Airbnb at the same time. They didn't know that they rent out this Airbnb at the same time.
They have to solve this little conundrum. It's like, oh man, we both rented out the same Airbnb at the same time through two different companies. How is that possible? Is this real? Is this not real? Is this a trap? No, it's not a trap. Is it a trap? Nah. And this is where I think the real star of the film is. The real star of the film is this freaking script and that director. I saw this tweet, which I thought encapsulated my feelings perfectly, in that this is the first film I felt like in a long time that I was in the hands of a madman. I did not know what was coming next, man. I'm like, what is going on? What is this movie? I'm like, we're gonna turn left. No, we like jumped up. I'm like, oh, okay. We're gonna turn right. Oh, we like dug under the ground. I'm like, what is this? Like the movie, it was so unpredictable, and yet it was very logical, right? Like for example, there are moments where our female protagonist, she would see this like this creepy door, this creepy ass basement open up. And she's like, fuck that, you know? And I'm like, that's really funny. She's like, yeah. She says, ironically, she says Nope, which, you know, we saw the movie Nope. But it kind of, it's interesting that I thought of Nope because for me, this was one of my favorite horror experiences I've had since Get Out. I really was just like on this crazy carnival ride. And I thought I had this movie down. I was like, I know what's happening. I get it. I see. He's the bad guy. Got it. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, no. Oh no, he's a good guy. Got it. He's a good guy. My bad. Got it. No, wait, no. Yeah. And the movie is so wild and yet like so much fun. And the movie is both hilarious. The movie is terrifying, and the movie has so much on its mind. The movie deals with a lot of big themes. About the destruction of Detroit, about the patriarchy, about how women have to act around men, but men don't have to act around women. And the movie's called Barbarian. Who is the Barbarian? You think you know who the Barbarian is, but do you know who the Barbarian is? And by the end of the film, it's clear who the Barbarian is. I just thought this was an incredible film and a great film experience because I went in cold.
I feel that this director was trying to say who is the real monster here. And throughout this film, you see Tess and you see Bill Skarsgård's character. What was his name again?
Keith,
that's right, Keith, because she kept yelling his name.
She did. And we saw his license, and we're like, "Is this real?
So it really was
real
him.
License, or is this not?" You know?
So you see, like the woman that's coming into the house, Keith is already there. She's hesitant, all right, because you know she's coming to a strange house as Airbnb that's already booked, and the man is there, and she's like, I don't know who this dude is. So she takes the right precautions by taking a picture of his license to see who he is. for him to sleep on the couch, for her to sleep in the bed, but he keeps on giving these cues to him being awkwardly, social awkwardly and weird. So that makes
he wasn't social awkward. This dude was freaking terrifying. I'm like, yo, and the whole time I'm like, girl, get out of that house, get out of there. I'm like, why are you here? But the movie did such a good job of like, the phrase like, oh, if you put a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you put a frog in cold water and slowly heat it up, it'll stay there until it dies. The movie slowly heats up to this point where you're like, you probably shouldn't do that. But then you're like, oh, okay, maybe this one, okay. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe then, okay. And by the time the more you realize the water is boiling, by the time you realize that she is in serious danger, the trap has been set, and it's just the movie. I thought is just so expertly put together, and like you said, it really helps that the guy who's at the Airbnb is played by Bill Skarsgård. He just looks freaking terrifying, like untrustworthy.
He looks very untrustworthy. Now, the stuff that happens to Keith and Tess happens 40 minutes within the film before it changes to something else.
Right. There's a hard turn. Yeah.
It's a hard turn. I mean, like, you see a brick wall and that car just like, it stops right there and it goes to something else. You're like, what happened?
Right. It's so abrupt. I bet a bunch of people flew off. They were just like, what? Huh?
But it goes into this actor that's played by Justin Long. We're in Cali now. We're seeing him riding down there. He gets a call from his agents about something that he did, which has to do with rape. Like, he raped a co-star. But with these allegations against him, he's like, I got to figure out how to stop this. How am I going to get this done? How am I going to pay for lawyers and stuff like that? He not only has property in California, but he has property in Detroit, where we were. Right. The exact house where we were.
And you're right. So you're like, what is this thing with Justin Long? And then you're like, oh, he owns the house. He owns the Airbnb. You're like, oh, I see. And so, full discretion, I've been playing the hell out of The Last of Us. And so it's in the front of my mind. And Justin Long's character reminds me so much of Joel. The movie tells you over and over.
Yeah.
He's a douche.
He's a bad guy.
Right? This guy ain't no good, right? And yet he's funny. He's likable. He's got a little charisma going, and the movie knows, this is where this movie is really smart. It knows that its audience is dudes, right? And the dudes will give this guy second, third, fourth, fifth chances. And the movie is like, you still like him though, right? You still like. Now, I imagine women will see this and be like, nope, red flag. But I feel like the movie allows Justin Long to be charismatic, to be funny, and to let you forget that, like, yeah, he ain't no good, dog. you know what I mean? And then at near the end of the film, the movie like seems to gets like this great fake out where he's like, oh, maybe I am a bad person. Maybe I need to be punished. Maybe I did rape that girl. And then 3 seconds later, the monster comes out. And he's like, what? and he goes straight to being a douchebag again, right? Immediate. Like, you could tell it was just all surface level. The movie does such a good job of playing with your expectations. While there is a movie monster, and while there are like, conventional like things like people running down dark hallways and screaming and stuff like that, the bulk of the film reminds me a lot of like a Stephen King book, where you've seen Stephen King books, they're so thick, and yet most of that thickness, it's like nothing's happening, right? Like you said, there's 40 minutes of setup between Tess and Keith, and between those times, there's no monsters, or is there? There's no chase, or is there? Right? You just cannot get comfortable. You're just like,
you're not comfortable from the first scene of her going up to the door, not being opened, looks around in the city, no light is on.
Yeah.
Not one light.
I was like, girl, if you don't get your ass back in that car. And then she got in the car. She was like, I need to get my ass in the car. And she got in the car. I was like, oh, look at that. She's smart.
And then the light came on. She's like,
yeah, exactly. And she got lured out. I'm like, there you go. So the movie gives you a logic. She's like, okay, I didn't just go knocking on the door, help me. You know, the light came on. She's like, oh, I did wake this guy up in the middle of the night. You know, I just think this was a really expertly made film. Like, let's talk about some of these like themes, like the Barbarian theme. Like, I'm gonna ask you, who do you think the Barbarian was?
The Barbarian, to me, was the father, because when the girl was escaping, and the big old the guy that's in every film that knows it all, that what goes on in the film, he has eyes like this.
Yeah, this is called the magical Negro.
Repeat after me. I am the lead character of my own story.
I am the lead character of my own story.
I am more than the advice I give white people.
I am more than the advice I give white people.
But yes.
He tried to tell her. He said, there's something in that house there's a worse monster than what's trying to get you.
Right. There's an abrupt flashback. Just like we're talking about, there's like that quick turn that probably threw people off and went to Justin Long. There's another quick turn. Boom. Suddenly we're back in 1979 or something. And you're like, what? Why are we in 1979? You're like, oh, look at Detroit. It's beautiful. That's right. Detroit's a wreck now, but at one point it was like a paradise, right? And this is like the beginnings of the neighborhood starting to go down a little bit. And so this to me tells me that guy, while he may be a barbarian, I don't think he is the barbarian. I think the barbarian is you. I think the barbarian is me. I think the barbarian are dudes. I think men wrecked the world. Bill Skarsgård, now that we've seen the film, we know that he was a decent guy, right? Yeah. And yet she could not treat him like this. Why? Because that potential to become the barbarian was there the whole time. And the movie acknowledges that it's there, right? You as a guy know that she cannot go through the world like he can, right? So I think the barbarian,
because they actually sat down and had that discussion about that, and then he's like, "Do I look like a monster to you?"
And she's like, and then Justin Long walks in there and he's like, "Excuse me," you know, he's like, bum, bum, you know, like a big, like a crazy person. I think the barbarian was the patriarchy. It's me, it's you, it's men in general, and how men get second, third, fourth chances, how men have all the resources in the world to fight back disgusting allegations, not unlike a previous video we just watched, where the director was a monster man and he made a movie more or less admitting that he was a monster man, and everyone's like, yeah, I love this movie, woo, 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 woo.
Boy, the comments in there, people,
it just underlines everything in this film, that like people will give guys the benefit of the doubt over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't matter what the allegation is. And this film acknowledges that our Tess could not, she knows she won't get this, right? She's got one chance at this. She got one shot, baby. Right? She got one shot, baby. Yeah, that's it. And she can't screw this up. So she's got to go through life much more carefully. I have not seen Don't Worry, Darling. I've heard some people say that it thinks it wants to be Get Out for white women. I'm like, no, this is Get Out for just women. Right?
Yeah, this is Get Out for women. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It was not the movie I thought it was. With a title like Barbarian, I expected something really dumb, to be blunt. And I just feel like this movie was refreshing. I was like, every once in a while, I get bogged down and I'm like, oh, man, I just don't want to watch another Jurassic Park. I'm so uninterested in this Avatar movie coming up. And now I can feel Marvel starting to lean on me a little bit. I'm like, oh, this feels like homework, right? Like I mentioned that last time. That which one was I? Pinocchio. Felt like homework, dog. I'm like, God. But then I'm like, oh yeah, this is what movies can do. They can really challenge you and have things to say, make you think. Or not. Like, if you don't want to, you don't have to. If you just want to say this movie was freaking weird because there was like a lady running around with a baby bottle trying to and like she was naked the whole time like a crazy person. Hey, that's for you too. If you just want to laugh, that's there for you too.
I saw this film with Miosha and she was like uncomfortable. She was like,
Yeah, exactly.
she was like, yeah. She's like, I was like, what'd you think? She was like, I didn't like it. It got me all in my feelings. I was like, that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie did its job.
Yeah, the movie's you're supposed to be like, that was fucked up, y'all. That's what you're supposed to say afterwards, right? That was the intention. This is probably one of the best directorial debuts, some of the best work from a director I've seen this year. Maybe even further. I gotta really think about it and digest that.
Doesn't it feel like this
really
could come from the mind of Jordan Peele?
It does. Yeah. This felt like a Jordan Peele film than Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting Nope to open up and become this, right? And then it didn't. And I'm not trying to like bash Nope or anything like that. I thought it was fine. I was okay on Nope. But this, if you are looking for something to scratch that Jordan Peele itch, it's here, right? And it's really surprising that Jordan Peele actually released a movie this year, and the most Jordan Peelean movie wasn't his.
So let's go ahead and get into our rating for Barbarian. This film, just like you just said, it scratched everything I needed for a horror film. It gave me the laughs, the unexpectedness. It gave me it didn't want to jump scare me.
No,
Thank God.
Yeah.
It was because jump scares are cheap. I'm going to give this this year's A+. Stamp it.
Wow. Yeah, I like this quite a bit too. Like you said, there weren't that many or any at all jump scares. The movie kind of played with your expectations in the beginning. I thought there was going to be a jump scare right off the top, and it didn't really happen. And like it played with my expectations. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was in a car that was going down the road, and I feel like I knew exactly what was happening. And then I looked at the past in the driver's seat, and the driver's gone. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like I thought I was like safe, but I was not. So I really enjoyed this film. This was a great time. So I'm gonna give this one an A. Maybe not an A+, but an A. Like there's some things like if you really start thinking about it, you're like, okay, so to get down that hallway, she's got to pull this. She has to move a thing out of the way and then pull a rope. So I'm like, so how does it get reset? Does the crazy lady close the door and then does the rope suck back into the door? Does the crazy lady put things in front of the rope again? How does it get reset? Unclear. So this movie isn't perfect, but it's like really, really good. And I highly recommend this one.
All right. I gave this film an overzealous A+. Devin gave this film an A. We both recommend you going to see this film. That is our rating and review for Barbarian.
This is perfectly natural.
Hey, we'd like to thank you for clicking on this video, man. Our subscriber count has been going up with people that just loves us or people that just want to subscribe to us because they don't like us. Whatever it is, they can do it. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can come along with the party. Okay? Right down there. All right? And if you liked our rating for this film, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit the thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion. But just remember one thing. It is mostly wrong. See you guys in another video. Man, I tell you, man, some big titty woman chasing out the gone.